Boom, and we are live. First of all, obviously, Merry Christmas. I hope everyone had a great 2 days of holidays. Remember, it's only 2 days. I felt compelled to do a live today. In England, we call this Boxing Day. I don't know where you're from when you're watching, but Boxing Day is obviously the day after Christmas, and it's kind of like when the bigger family get together in the UK, or that's what it was in my family anyway. So it'd be like your cousins and your big family get together, and the football's on. There was a bit of boxing at one point as well, but that's not really what it's about. And just kind of like a family day. I live in Spain now. I don't have much of an extended family, and Christmas for me has always been a very strange time of year. So that's kind of what I wanted to speak about for everybody. I think the people that love Christmas and the people that are super, super involved in Christmas, and they, the ones that get ready for it, and they have the 12 days of Christmas and all these different things and these traditions, I think they're the lucky people. I think that they're people that have too much free time and too much good stuff going on. They obviously have someone looking after them, someone providing for them, someone caring for them to be able to do that. And if they don't, then they're not really able to do it. And some people are procrastinating by doing that. Like, I'm very proud that I allow my family and my wife to spend a lot of time enjoying the build up to Christmas. And we do all these I don't do them, but my wife and the kids do all these little things. And if you're the person that does that with your family, then incredible. But if you are struggling in life for the rest of the year because of this time, because of Christmas, then you're just retarded, and you shouldn't be focusing so much time on Christmas and worrying about how good Christmas is going to be and what it's all about, because it obviously does not matter, right? And Christmas is a time to enjoy with your family, with your friends, and I hope everyone had a good time with their family and their friends, but it's over now. We have 1 week now until 2024, and I think this week now is the biggest week of the year. This is the week where everyone can get ahead, where everyone can do. Everyone's being lazy now. Everyone's off work. Everyone's boozing. Everyone's waiting for New Year's to go out and have some party to celebrate some bullshit holiday that doesn't even really matter or exist. I just think now's the time to get ahead. Now's the time to start doing what you say you're going to do in January, which you're not going to do in January. You're going to start doing in February. But now is the time to start. That 1 week makes all the difference. And, I think for me, I grew up without Christmas. So I grew up, my mother is a Jehovah's Witness. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. So we did not celebrate Christmas. We do not celebrate New Year's. We do not celebrate birthdays, all these sort of things. And at the time as a kid, it was awful, obviously. But it kind of became a superpower for me. And I think one of the foundations of my upbringing and the foundations of my mentality come from my mother not allowing me to celebrate these things. Not allowing me, but me getting to see her in a world full of pressures, outside pressures, telling her, why don't you celebrate Christmas? You should do this, you should do that, you should do this. And her standing strong and saying, no, I believe this, and I am going to do this. And she decided not to celebrate Christmas and no pagan holidays, anything like that. And at the time, like I said, it was horrible for me as a kid going to Christmas, and they say, what'd you get for Christmas? I got a bike. And you're like, nothing, because we don't celebrate it. It was tough, but now looking back on it, I'm extremely proud of my mum, and I think she showed extreme resilience and still does to this day. Again, I had Christmas with my family. She wasn't there. She doesn't celebrate it. Not her thing. So I think that showed me that you could be different, that it was okay to not follow the trend or not follow the world and be your own man, and do what you want to do. I think there's so much value in that. And then you kind of see how much of it is bullshit as well. Because now I celebrate Christmas 100% for my children. Like, I couldn't care less. I really couldn't care. I like the time with my family. I work extremely hard to be able to rest and be switch off for 2 days and, build Lego and do all the little crappy things that you do with your kids at Christmas. And it's fun and it's enjoyable and it's a nice feeling to relax there with your family. But, that's all I do it for, is for them. The whole part of it, the whole me being there, me being dad and doing all that sort of stuff is for my family. And anyone who doesn't have a family, I think we should stop celebrating Christmas when you're 10 years old, maybe 12. I don't know. But if you're 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, and you don't have kids, what are you celebrating? I don't understand it. I think it's just a complete waste of time. And like I said, I have this vision or this outlook on it because I grew up without it. So when you're supposed to enjoy it as a child, I didn't have it because it was taken away from me by my parents. So I, I, I see the joy in the kids and the belief in the lies that we tell them. I see the joy and the fabricated joy and all that sort of stuff. And it's great as a parent. It's great. And it's great to see them and they have a great time and all that sort of stuff. But if you're failing the other 363 days a year, and you're relying on Christmas being special and it meaning something, then I just think you're really missing the point. For me, Christmas is every day. I work extremely hard every single day to try and push myself every single day to have a good life every single day. And I did some great things this year. I added them up today. I've left the country or been on location in different places. I can't remember how many times, 37 or 38 different places I visited this year. Always for work, because all I do is work, some people say, but 38 different locations, that's like 75 or 76 planes, probably more like 80 planes I've been on, and traveled the world and been around people and had great times. What difference is if it's during Christmas or not during Christmas? I don't see why Christmas is so important. If you're putting so much importance on that day, then maybe it's because your life sucks. Maybe you need to improve your day-to-day life and look at that and think about that if you're so worried about how good Christmas is going to be. The people that have the time to spend focused on making Christmas a special day, they are the people that shouldn't have to worry about anything else. They are the people that should, when I say people that shouldn't have to worry about anything else, people that are being provided for and looked after, children that are being looked after. They are the ones that have the joy and have the fun and have the excitement of Christmas and all this sort of stuff. That's how I feel about it, and I think if you're still on that path of celebrating Christmas, maybe you need to rethink things. But yeah, I just wanted to start. I know it's a bit of a horrible way to start it, but I thought that'd be a good way to talk about it. For me, I wanted to review this year. I thought this was a great time for me to talk and do a live because, like I said, the thing with my mother and Christmas is quite a hard/special time for me, a very individual thing, and it really, I believe, set the foundation for me to become the man that I am. It's kind of the reason, I think, retrospectively, deep down, that I went into fighting. I loved fighting, and everyone else thought it was crazy and I shouldn't do it. But I had my mother's strength within me that I knew I could do whatever I want to do with my life, and I decided to follow that path and quit my job and sleep on the floor and fight other men for a living. And I did that for a long, long time, and now I'm transitioning out of that into something completely new. And again, I'm standing strong on my beliefs, and now doing a YouTube live, probably with 10, 15 people watching, but I'll continue to do it until next year and the year after that and the year after that. And I think that's, as long as you're doing it for the right reasons and you're building something, I believe in that. And I think it's super, super valuable to have that self-belief. And I think most people don't have that because they've never stood up for anything. Most men don't stand up for anything anymore. They just follow trends and listen to other people rather than listen to themselves and try and follow through with something. So that's why I wanted to talk at Christmas anyway. So this year for me has been a pretty good year. Like I said, I've been to 38 different locations. I started 3 businesses, started a podcast, started a YouTube channel. This studio I started. Well, I've done a few other bits. I can't really think, but financially done better than I've ever done. Physically, I lost a hell of a lot of weight. This year, the what do you call it? My physicality, the button got switched, or the flick got switched. I was this professional athlete for 17 years, and all I cared about was my health, and I kind of got bored of it, and I became a bit of a slob physically. And it was one friend of mine that beat the shit out of me that reminded me, no, you got to be in shape. So I've now pressed that button and I've focused more in on being in shape and becoming better. And I've been doing that now maybe 5 months, and I've dropped nearly 10% of body weight and body fat, not body weight. That'd be crazy. And that's instilled in me. That fire's instilled and it's growing. So that's something that's definitely changed this year for me. That switch has been hit. And then my relationships and my family's never ever been better. So for me, it's been a fairly successful year, if you want to call it that. But internally, I feel like even though financially been the best year ever, physically probably been the best year since I was fighting, relationship-wise for sure been the best year. For me, I feel like I've done nothing, and I need to push a lot harder and a lot better and a lot further than I have this year. And I feel like 2024 is going to be an incredible year for a lot of people and a horrible year for a lot of people, because I think it's going to be a crazy, with the US elections coming up and everything going on in crypto and the financial markets and the wars and everything. It's going to be an insane year. So I think it's one full of opportunity for the people that are switched on, the people that are in right position to take advantage of everything that is going to happen in 2024. And I think I put myself in that position. I continue to put myself in that position by working hard and pushing forward. So I think that the question that I got reminded of this year for when it comes to the physical fitness, like I said, I kind of let myself go. And every day when I was fighting, I used to get asked, I used to get the feeling that I physically was going to die every single day. I know how fun and nice this live is, but every single day I was reminded that I could die because I was put in those situations where I was pushing my body to the absolute max and I was sparring against crazy athletes and fighting and everything else. And I was reminded, you could die. I could die today. I could die tomorrow. You were reminded. And when I stopped fighting, and this is probably the main reason I think fighting is the most important foundational thing in life, is you face your mortality every single day. You face yourself and you think, I could be gone. So what am I doing today to make sure that I can keep pushing forward? Today I felt like I was going to die in a very different manner because it was legs day in the gym. Day after Christmas, had a few beers yesterday, enjoyed some food, leg day with my trainer, and I thought I was going to die. So I'm asking myself that question and putting myself through that pain every single day. You can only grow and become better from that. So for me, I got reminded of that for me is one of the most poignant parts of the year. Being reminded that I'm going to die, and reminding myself every single day that that's going to happen through physical anguish and pain. I did a lot in my fighting career. I stopped doing it, and I lagged, and I kind of become this, fat loser in my eyes, and now I'm trimming back up and coming forward. So I think that for me has definitely been one of the biggest points of the year. So I think if you're not pushing yourself that way physically, I don't want to associate with men that don't do that. I was like that in the fighting days as well. But you want to be with the people that are really pushing their body to the point where they feel like they're going to die, and then they have a better grasp of what they can actually achieve, and you'd be amazed what your body can go through and what you can withstand. I made a few notes about what I wanted to talk about, and then I got a few questions that I'll go through as well. But yeah, probably one of the biggest lessons that I learned this year, kind of going into like 2024 and setting goals and all that sort of stuff. But one of the biggest lessons I learned was, I kind of already knew it, and everyone kind of knows it, but it's like the ideology of who you're surrounding yourself with is going to predict your future. Like the 5 people that you're spending the most time with, and I'm going to go a bit deeper into this because I know it's a cliche thing to say, are going to help you achieve what you need to achieve and setting what you want to achieve. So the way I look at that is the 5 people that you spend time with, they need to come into 3 different categories. And you need to make sure you have a good mixture of these 3 different categories. And the categories are, you need to either look up to them, you need to be helping them, or you need to be competing with them. They're the 3. So you have to be battling with them every single day, or you have to be learning from them, or you have to be teaching them. So those 5 people, if you have the 5 closest people to you that you spend every single day with, and you're teaching all of them all the time, you're just giving your energy to them, and you're getting nothing in return. And it can go across the different parts of life and everything else. And then if you're learning from them all, okay, you're doing the right thing. You're just learning. Depends on your age, where you are in life, all those sort of things. Or you're competing with them. I want to have a good mixture of the people that I hang around with, that I'm competing with, that I'm learning from, and that I'm teaching. And why I say teaching is so important, because when I was fighting, I think I improved so quickly because I started teaching after 6 months. One of the coaches asked me to teach the beginners. And when you teach someone something, anything in life, you always get asked random questions that you would never ask yourself. And that, a lot of the time, you pretend to know what they say. I'm talking about like martial arts. They say, I'm teaching you how to learn an arm bar. And you say, yeah, but why'd you do it like that? And you say, X, whatever. You make it up. I do it like that because it's the better angle, or whatever. You make it up. But then you go home and you think, why do I do it like that? And then you have to fix your mind and think about it, and you really need to focus in. So actually teaching others is a really, really good way of reinforcing what you know. And I think that's one thing with the YouTube this year for me, starting it and doing YouTube and people asking me questions and doing the podcast and listening to other people's point of view. I've really had to think and reinforce about my points of view and the way I see the world and what I think about certain things. And you have to have an answer for it. So if you teach someone, they're going to ask you awkward questions. And when they ask you awkward questions, you're going to have to know the answer. And if you don't know the answer, you have to go away and learn a little bit more from a different point of view. So you learn things from more of like a 360 point of view, which I think is super, super important. And the next important thing is when you teach those people, they get better. And if they're in your circle, that means if you want to stay at the top, you have to get better as well. So you never want the people in your circle to get worse. You want to help them, push them up. But if you're pushing them up, they're pushing you up. So, that's the thing the biggest thing I learned this year was to make sure that my circle is I'm helping them, they're helping me, and we're competing, we're fighting. We want to be better than each other, and we're really combative in that way. Whether it comes to making money, whether it comes to style, whether it comes to fitness, health, what you eat, whatever it is. Like, as long as you're competing, then that's what drives me. I'm a competitor. We used to split fighters, or not everyone, but me and my team, we used to talk about fighters in 3 different ways. You used to say there was martial artists. You used to say there was fighters, like people that just had anger within them. And then there was competitors. They're the 3 types, of fighters or competitors that we would think of. I'm a competitor. I hate to lose at anything. I was never really a fighter. I was never really an angry guy that wanted to fight. I like martial arts. I like to learn things, but I wasn't really a martial artist. I was 100% a competitor. So through life, I compete. That's how I push myself forward. I don't have the thirst to learn martial arts, and I couldn't care less. I just want to win. All I care about is winning. And now I take that over into every part of my life. And with my circle, I compete against all of them. And they're happy to compete against me. It's a friendly competition. We're trying to beat each other, and we're trying to improve each other, and we're trying to make each other better. So I think if you analyze the people that you spend time with and see if you're just teaching them everything and they're taking all your energy and you're getting nothing in return, or if you're just stealing energy and taking from it, but even if you're just stealing energy, getting taught things over and over again, or looking up to people, you never get to put them into practice. You never get to do them. You never get to, be on the same wavelength if you're always learning. So you need to have those people that you're competing with. You have to have those people, those peers that you're spending time with, that you're like, look at me, I just did this, it's impressive. What do you think? You have to have those people that make you feel uncomfortable and push you. So for me, I think I'm balancing that out in my social circle, my group, and I think you should definitely evaluate your group as well. Going into 2024, you should look at who you're spending time with, why you're spending time with them, how they're helping you, how you're helping them, and what you're competing over. And then I tweeted this, so it only came to my mind today when I thought about what I wanted to talk about. People talk about the compounding effect and how things compound. And they normally talk about that. I've been doing a lot of research this year into, finance and monetary systems. And people talk about compounding interest. And they talk about compounding. And every time you think of compounding, you think of money. And you think of, if I invest in this, it's going to compound. And in 60 years, I'm going to be rich. Whatever. I think people don't usually think about compounding in the way that I think about it. And the way I think about compounding is with pressure. I think pressure compounds on you. That makes you stronger. That makes you better. The more pressure you put yourself under, the more pressure you can take. You don't, and again, I learned this from fighting. You really don't understand. You have been taught and you have been told that you are this weak, useless person. But you don't understand the amount of pressure your body can go through. You don't understand how much you can put it through. You need to teach your mind that you can put it through this pressure. Because in fighting, it was just a game of pressure. 1v1, who can take the most pressure? Yeah, there's technique and there's punches and there's kicks. But it's not really, it's about, for me, fighting was always about energy. 2 energy forces coming together. And whichever energy could take the most pressure, the other one breaks. And you would even almost feel them break in the fight. You would feel them give up. And once they give up, it's easy. It's like water hitting a dam. As soon as the crack happens, it breaks open, you just smash them. That's how it felt to me with fighting. You were just, the pressures were competing against each other. And that compounds and makes you stronger and makes you stronger and makes you stronger and makes you stronger. And most people don't think of it like that. And they think, I get asked a lot of questions like, how do you become, confident and all these things? And it's pressure, layers of pressure. And again, I'll talk about it in fighting terms. If you're a first guy ever having your fight, the way that I would coach you is with layers of pressure. The first layer of pressure is I teach you the technique. You learn the technique, how to jab. Okay, now you know how to throw the jab. Now I'll put you under another layer of pressure where I analyze you. And you throw the jab, I analyze how you throw the jab, and I give you feedback, live time. So you're being taught no elbow in, blah, 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 whatever. That's another layer of pressure. Now I'll do that with pads, so I can feel it on the pad. Okay, now I can feel it on the pad. I'll add another layer of pressure. Maybe that layer of pressure will be avoiding a punch and then throwing a jab. So you have something to think about while you're doing the action. Then from there, you'll have to make a movement afterwards. So now you have 3 layers of pressure or 4 layers of pressure. Then from there, we'll take it to a live situation. Then from there, we'll take that live situation and we'll make the person you're competing against harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. Then when you're at a certain level and you feel good and you feel confident, you can throw a jab well, we'll now give you multiple opponents. So you're going to have an opponent for 1 minute, then a new opponent for another minute, then a new opponent for another minute, and you're going to stay in as the fresh guy getting more and more tired. And tired is always the pressure that breaks people. Everyone can do everything fresh, everyone can do everything clean, but when you get tired, you break. So that's how I looked at fighting and how I looked at training people and how I looked at training myself, was adding layers of pressure. It's exactly the same now for me in life. I'm just trying to add layers of pressure to myself. I want all the pressure. I want every sort of challenge that I could take on, every single thing that I can do. I don't want to have a balanced lifestyle. I want to push myself to the limit. But I can't go from 0 to 100. I have to go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 with layers of different pressure. You know, like I said, maybe at the beginning, I've been on 38 trips. That includes flying. I've been out of the country 211 days. I've got a family. I've got multiple businesses that I have to run. Plus, I have to do all these other. These are all layers of pressure. All the communication, all the things that I have to do. They're all layers of pressure that I've had to build up over time. I can't just jump into it. And I think one of the thing that most young men don't understand is life doesn't get any easier. Life just gets harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. Those layers of pressure, there's more and more and more and more. Once you have kids, you have responsibilities, you have a wife, you have a it's just, people don't see it like that. Okay, now you've got a load of money, you got a load of houses, you got loads of responsibilities that you got to take over. That's pressure. You have to build yourself, construct yourself into a man that can deal with that pressure. The way you do it is by adding one layer of pressure at a time, which is the same way I improve my fighting skills. And I think me sitting here right now, I've been retired for 3 years from fighting, and fighting was my entire life. And over those 3 years, I've just carried on adding layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of pressure. And in this year, going into 2024, I'm ready for the big layers of pressure. At the moment, I've just been learning the techniques. I've been doing the live drills. Now from doing live drills, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready for the sparring. I feel ready to be pushed to that tired mark where I find out where I'm tired. Then when you find out where you're tired, you train some more, you get in better shape, and then you push yourself till you're more tired. That's kind of where I'm at now when it comes to money and work and workload and concentration and all these different types of things. So someone asked me a question a couple of weeks ago, probably months ago, because my brain doesn't work when it comes to time, but it was about how do you deal with being bored? And I just couldn't understand the boredom. To me, didn't make sense. But he was saying, like, I'll be doing 3-4 hours of emailing, talking, and I get bored. I don't want to procrastinate. And I said the same thing to him about, again, goes back to fighting. If you are procrastinating and you are getting bored 3 hours in, you have to tell yourself, this is when it really counts. This is when it matters. This moment right here, the hard part, that's what counts. And when it was fighting, it was the same. It didn't matter when you were fresh. Everyone can fight fresh. It's easy. Once you started to get tired, that's when it matters. That's when that moment matters, when you start to think, oh, it's hard now. Once it gets hard, that's when it counts. That's the only time it matters. So it's the same with working. Once you get tired or frustrated or distracted or keeping focused, that's the moment that matters. And for me, I feel like putting these things into place in my mind from fighting has really, really helped me. So, you know, I think as that pressure builds and you build and you become better and better and better, you compound it in a very positive way. You know, it's very hard to compound it in a negative way. So just remember that and think, as long as I'm moving in the right direction and things are going the right way, then I should be happy. My screen's gone black, so I'm just going to check and make sure everything's okay. Oh no, it's back now. So it should be fine. But yeah, so I believe that pressure compounds. into making you, there's that stupid phrase which says diamonds are made under pressure, all that crap, whatever. But you got to build yourself up with pressure. Don't just go from 0 to 100. Build it up little by little by little by little. So the pressure will compound in that way. I think positive thoughts compound as well. I think this is something that people misunderstand. Everyone says like, oh, you need to be more positive. And 100%, the more positive you are over time, it compounds and you become a more positive person. That doesn't mean you have to be, hey, how are you? Da, da, da. I'm not like that in any way. But I don't want to think a single negative thought that is going to affect me. I believe that thoughts are things, and when you think something, it exists in another reality. And if it exists in another reality, it is possible. And I mean that in a positive way, not in a negative way. If I think of something that I want to achieve, I've thought of it, it's happened here. Now I just need to make the connection between the two and make it a reality. And I think if you continue these positive thoughts, you're just going to create positivity in your life. And if you create positivity in your life, things are only going to get better. They compound over time. So again, when they talk about compounding, I just think people are missing the magic with compounding. They just think about money, compounding interest. You need to understand that every action you make, what's it called? The butterfly effect. Every small effect that you have changes your entire life, the people around you, everything. It compounds over time. Positive thought is probably the most powerful of those. But in the same instant, this also compounds with bad choices. If you make bad choices in your life, that compounds quicker and quicker and quicker. I tweeted this and I said, the most famous one is just one beer. I'm just going to have one beer, just one more beer. It's fine. Just one drink. Everyone knows that's when stuff goes wrong most of the time. And maybe that's going to be fun, and maybe that's going to be a good experience, and maybe that's going to be a good story, but sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want to work out. But I'm just saying, like, bad experiences, bad moments, bad choices, bad things, they compound. So it's not just, what I'm trying to install in you is not just when you make that bad decision, you decide to do that one bad thing. It's not just one bad thing. You're destroying the upward lift that you have of yourself. You're destroying the momentum that you've built. That positive momentum that you had going. You make one bad decision. Now you're compounding in the other direction. You're compounding downhill. You're compounding in the way you don't want to go. And brings me to the point where I don't believe people talk about plateauing. Like, oh, you do a certain amount and then you can just plateau. That doesn't exist. You're either thriving or you're dying. They're the two choices you have. You're either going up or you're going down. And as soon as you make a bad decision, that's going to compound in a negative direction. So you have to have pressure on yourself to deal with pressure. We spoke about it. You got to add those layers. But you have to have this sharpness to understand that if you're going to make mistakes are gonna matter. So you need to correct those mistakes as quickly as possible, not dwell on them, not worry about them. That's when it starts to compound inside your mind, having these negative thoughts. If you make a mistake, you need to correct it quick, as fast as you can. And I think for me, that's something that I found super, super important. Just to finish, like, I'm coming into 2024. I'm 35. I'll be 36 this year. I feel like my life's just beginning. I remember having on the podcast, you'll see, comes out next week, with a guy called Pavel Neruda. We had a great chat. And one of the things I said in that chat was, I believe I'm built for something great. I believe I'm built for something big. And I don't think that thing has happened in my life yet. Maybe that's just how my mind is built. That I think, and in the same way, I don't think I had a great year this year. And my year was if I gave it to someone else, it was probably a pretty phenomenal year. I did some amazing things. I just keep pushing myself to the next level. And I hope that you guys continue to do the same thing. And you think the same way, and you're not lazy, and you don't think that, oh, that's enough. You need to understand where you're going and what you're doing it for. And I have a very, very clear vision of that. And I think 2024, like I said, is going to be a very up and down year. A lot of negativity is going to happen. A lot of problems are going to happen. You have to be prepared for those things. I'm extremely blessed to be a part of the war room and to have my brothers around me that I'm ready for every situation that comes. Anything that happens to me, I know I've got a specialist in every single area I can just contact. Through my network and the group that I'm a part of, we can already see the things coming before they come. We can already see what's going to happen. We already know what 2024 is going to bring. We already know how it's going to be, and we know what the right moves are to make sure that we avoid, getting caught in these big problems that a lot of people are going to get caught in, because it's going to be a nasty year. 2024 for me, year of the dragon. if you want to get into Chinese proverbs or whatever they're called. I only got told this because I'm Year of the Dragon, so apparently it's meant to be my year, but we'll find out. Let's see if I got any questions. I don't know how this works. Let me have a look. Oh, I can use this thing. Right. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hope it was a good one for you. Had a good time. Hey, Luke, I'm 16 years old. I don't know if I should go to uni. What should I do? Is it a waste of time? This question comes up a lot about university, and it depends on why you go. And that's what I think. I think yes. Simple answer is yes, university is a waste of time. Yes, university is a waste of money, especially now in this day and age with the agenda and everything that's happening in university and how they're pushing things. But if you know what you want to become, the reason you're asking this question, I think you obviously don't know what you want to become. If you're like, I want to be a lawyer, well, you got to go to university. It's the only way you're going to become a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. It's got to go to university. It's the only way you're going to become a doctor. Like, if you know exactly what you want already, then university is useful, for sure. I didn't go to university, so I'm maybe not the guy to direct on this, but I didn't go. I decided not to go. I wasn't the most academic guy in the world. Left school at 15, and then I came back to school and went to college, and I did architecture, and I did a few different other things, and that's a great example. I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid, but it took 7 years of university. I wasn't going to do that. Never happened. I don't think to become successful, you need university. That's probably the question that you're asking. But if you know what you want, then it can be useful. Obviously, we have the real world that teaches you far more than university is ever going to teach you about making money. If your goal is to make money, don't go to university. If your goal is to learn something extremely specific, philosophy or some bullshit waste of time, go for it. It's an absolute waste of time. You can do it better on your own. But if that's what you want to be, surrounded with those people, go for it. I don't think I think you'll look back at it and regret it, but if there's there's only very specific things you should go to university for, which again, I think it's becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor. If you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, do it. And being a lawyer and a doctor, they're not going to be the most fulfilling, best decisions you ever make in your life, I believe. I know a lot of lawyers, and I know a lot of people in medicine. I don't know that many doctors, but they work extremely hard. They are pushed to the limit mentally and physically, especially in the UK with the NHS and everything that was going. Like, it's insane how hard they work, and they do not get paid what they should get paid. And it's all corrupt. The medical systems are corrupt. The hospitals are corrupt. The insurance system, it's all corrupt. So I think you're going to be a part of something that, when you look back at it, I'm not sure how proud you'll be of it. Some of them obviously do good work, and when you get sick, you go to the hospital and they treat you and everything else. But I think unless you have a very, very specific goal in mind, I would not go to university. I would try and find a way to make money and then find your own path. If you're lost, most 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds that go to university are lost, don't know what they want to do with their life, end up getting drunk for 4 years and learn nothing. That's the reality. That is the reality, probably 95%. So if you're one of those 95%, don't waste the money, don't go to university. Join the real world, and you'll be able to make more money and learn more just through that anyway. Jesus, what a tough question this is. Merry Christmas. What brings you happiness? From Texas Top GGG. This is the answer that I wish you knew the answer. What brings me happiness? Achieving something is what makes me happy. This is the reason I quit fighting, which I've spoken about a few times. But the reason I quit fighting is because I stopped feeling anything. When I fought and I won, I was like, okay, I won, made some money, won, cool. When I lost, I was like, man, I could have done better. I lost any intention, any feeling. I wasn't bothered. There was nothing in it for me. And I think it's because I'd climbed quite high in that mountain quite quickly. And then I competed at this level early on in my career, probably before I should have. And then when I was competing at this level and winning, it meant nothing to me. So from that, retrospectively looking back at it, I think I fought for probably 5 years too long. There was no point in it for me. After I was 28, 29, I fought a guy called Mehmed Khalidov. After I lost to him, I should have just give up because I was never going to get any higher than that. And the drive and the happiness, as you're calling it, wasn't there. But I believe happiness comes in moments. I believe it comes in very, very small moments, and they are achieved by striving for something big. The happiest I've been recently, I had happy moments at Christmas, seeing my girls. They're amazing. It's a different sort of happiness. But the achievement happiness, the biggest thing I got recently, which you'll laugh about, is someone sent me $2 on YouTube. Started this YouTube journey. Someone sent me €2 or $2 or whatever it was. And I thought, cool, people are paying for my content. That's amazing. It was a big achievement for me. Very, very small thing, but that took 6 months of making stuff, tweeting, making videos, doing podcasts to get to that point, So once I got to that point, it was like, we did something cool. So I think what makes me happy is achieving things, pushing for something, trying to get to the next level. I think it's very different to what the average guy thinks of as happiness. I think being happy is a scam. I think it's a lie. I don't think you can be happy. I think the state of being as happy, it doesn't exist. I think there's very, very small moments at the top of mountains that you kind of take a moment to pat yourself on the back, feel good about yourself, and then you move on to the next thing. And I think for me, when I look back at my life and what I've achieved, that kind of makes me happy as well. So as long as I'm achieving things, as long as this year is better than last year, it kind of makes you happy. So when I look back at sleeping on the floor, I'm happy, because I slept on the floor and now I'm not sleeping on the floor. But if I was still sleeping on the floor, I probably wouldn't be too happy about it, if that makes any sense. But it's a deep question, so I tried to answer it as well as I could. Easy market to get into. What do you think about appointment setters and closers? Seems like an easy market to get into. It's definitely an easy market to get into. It's not an easy market to be good at. It's a very talented thing you have to learn. It's a skill that you have to learn. Like everything in life, you have to go through a process, learn it, become better at it, push yourself. I think sales in general is the easiest way to make large amounts of money at a young age. When if you're not making money, learning how to sell and sales, that's basically what closing an appointment setting is a sales role. Sales is super, super important. It's something I never learned as a young man, but I did a little bit of sales, to be fair. I did telesales when I was 19 or 20, but it was slightly different. I worked for a company called I can't remember, the Music Rights Society. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it wasn't quite sales. I used to ring people pubs and all those sort of places, and they have to pay a license to play music. It's all changed probably now because of the internet, but I used to have to ring them and I used to have to check what they were using, like live bands or DJs or radio or whatever. And there was different license bands that they had to pay. And I had to try and, obviously get the best, sell the most I could. So they had to pay the most revenue that I could possibly get. So it wasn't quite sales because it was contracted. But I was the best in the office at it 6 months in a row and then I quit. But it was, anyway, didn't do sales. But that's what I would definitely say. If you sales for a young man, I don't think it's easy. So you put you think about appointment, it seems as an easy market to get into. It's a big market to get into. I wouldn't say it's easy. It's not easy to be good. It's easy to get into. It's hard to be good at it. I believe they teach that in the real world as well. So that will be something to look into. I'm sure there's a sales campus in there that could help you, and many, many people in there that help you. For one thing about becoming a salesman or becoming a setter or a closer, cold DMing people on Instagram, I get hundreds of these guys messaging me about making short form content or being closers or being, just do something original. The next person that messaged me going, I can make you short form, just make it for me and send it to me and I'll watch it. And if it's good, I'll be like, oh, this is good. Telling me that you can do a job and not doing the job is just a waste of time. So if you want to stand out and you want to be something different and you want to get into setting and you want to get into closing, it is a real art form and a real skill, but good luck. Merry Christmas. Do you buy your kids any presents? Seems like kids these days are getting spot on. Completely agree. Again, I think that's all part of the scam, all part of the marketing when it comes to Christmas. I definitely do buy my kids presents. I bought my kids one. My wife bought the rest. We do I lie to my kids. I talk about Santa and all that sort of stuff because the whole world is telling them about it. And we do a gift from mum and dad. And they got Lego because I like to build Lego with them. It was princess Lego because I've got two girls, which is a bit sad, but it is what it is. But yeah, we do that the night before. In England, normally you open the presents for your kids and stuff on Christmas Day. In the morning, they wake up, Santa's been, blah, 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 blah. The night before, we normally open one gift, which will be from the parents. So they understand that it's not all just magical Santa stuff. Like, we put some effort into it too. But they don't get that much. They really don't. I mean, it's compared to how we could spoil them, they don't get a lot. We normally try and make the things that they get useful for us, for what they need anyway. So it's just kind of like a day for them. And we probably get them like one cool thing, which for this year was they got Lego and some scooters and stuff like that. I don't know, my wife sorted it all out. Subscribe, thank you very much. See you in Prague, G. Okay, Igor, I will be there. I'm going to Prague tomorrow. Will be, like I said, the 38th trip that I've done this year. As a 5'7" stocky man, what's the best fighting style for me? Never take a step backwards. Easy work, bro. When you say fighting style, you mean martial art or you mean fighting style? Short, stocky, powerful guys, that they have a lot of advantages and a lot of disadvantages. The same as being tall and lanky like I am. I have a lot of advantages, but I have a lot of disadvantages. You want to get on the inside, you want to grab hold of someone, you want to get them on the floor, you want to be, you want to be, if you're going to grapple, a lot of short, stockier guys, they get into grappling, which I think is probably, a better thing for you, because striking, you're always going to have a disadvantage, especially if you're stocky, because it means you're going to be heavy as well. So I'd say grappling, like a jiu-jitsu. I really believe the only martial arts worth doing anymore, in my opinion, are boxing, Thai boxing, wrestling, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I really think there's not really much better than that. Yeah, you could do kickboxing. Yeah, you could do karate. Yeah, there's so many other ones, taekwondo and all this sort of stuff. But those four, for me, are the foundations of martial arts, and I think they're the most, the strongest across all disciplines. I did a video about that on my YouTube. I spoke about which is the best to utilize for. I'm looking at this more than I'm looking at this. But yeah, I did a video on YouTube about what's best for street fighting. But yeah, I think boxing's great for street fighting, but I think if you're a stocky, short guy and you want to do it as a sport, you should probably get into grappling. Okay. I think this is, do this. Okay, we've got a few here. Hi, Luke. I'm an athlete, fencer, but the problem I face is how to active more light and fast from the beginning until the end of competition. Any advice? Okay, so you're talking about explosive movement, I guess, in fencing. I know nothing about fencing. I know nothing. Zero. I imagine you're pretty light, pretty quick. You have to explode backwards and forwards. I think plyometrics is probably the answer, but you want to keep it for an extended amount of time. You said from the beginning of the session to the end of the session. So I think plyometric workouts, explosive workouts, lots of jumping would probably be good. But I'm not a strength conditioning coach, so I would find one in your area wherever you live, or even online. There's plenty online, proper good strength and conditioning coaches. Will Wayland is someone that I worked with. I've worked with loads of strength and conditioning coaches for fighting. Will Wayland is actually the original guy that I worked with. For me, he offers the best results for like varied sports. He does golf. A lot of his athletes do golf, and he does a lot of information, a lot of free stuff. I don't know if I can. I won't be able to find his Instagram or anything like that. But Will Wayland, I think it's Powering Through @Powering_Through. I'd check out some of his stuff, because we did something called triphasic training, which maybe will help you with fencing as well. Depends if you have seasons or how it works. I don't know. But check out Will Wayland or William Wayland @Powering_Through on Instagram. And yeah, I think he'll be able to give you some amazing advice. How do you build insane level of discipline? Merry Christmas. Again, for me, it's what I spoke about in the beginning of this message. So if you didn't watch it from the beginning, once it ends going live, go back and you can watch it. But it's about adding layers of pressure. I think the problem that most people, when they set goals, is they look at the end result. They don't look at the little bits in between. I think you should break your goal down into 1,000 pieces, and you should hit it every single day. And it's not about, if you're looking at where you want to be at the end of 2024, it's never going to work like that. It's about what you do today that matters, what impacts, what shifts the needle on the things that you want to improve in your life today, right now. I think that's, like I said, for me, after Christmas, I did not want to go to the gym and do legs. I did not want to do it, but I know that on my journey, my fitness journey, I want to drop the weight, all these sort of things. I need to do it. I've got to do it today, not tomorrow, not after New Year, not today. So I think the discipline comes from adding layers of pressure. And it was my whole life. Fighting was my whole life. So I added those slow, small layers. You need to peel back your life, look at where you prioritizing and understanding, identifying where you're making mistakes and where you're fucking up. That's the first thing. Identify. See what you're doing wrong and then slowly improve that. If you're overweight, don't go on this crazy diet. Just cut back calories by 100, then 200, then 300. It's easy. Step by step by step by step by step. If you try and drop 1,000 calories a day, it's going to be miserable. Not gonna. Your body's going to adjust. Your body will adjust very, very, very quickly if you make little incremental changes. If you try and walk an extra 1,000 steps, if you try and lift, if you try and enter the gym, like everyone says, go to the gym. So okay, if you don't want to go to the gym, literally go to the gym and walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes and then leave. You don't have to do a monster session. If that's how you get started, that's the first layer of pressure. Actually going to the place, then add another layer, then add another layer, then add another layer, then add another layer, and that was one of the things I think for fighting, where my consistency and my discipline really came through. It's like even when I was injured or I was sick, I still went to the gym. So I would sit in the gym and I would watch the session, even if I had a broken arm, broken jaw. First fight, I got my jaw broken. I went to the gym every single day and watched every single session because I wanted to get better. So because I'm debilitated by my jaw, I'm not going to allow that to stop me from learning. So I still went to the gym, physically was there, physically in the space. And I think that's a big part when it comes to losing weight. And a lot of people just don't want to go to the gym. Just go and have a coffee. Step one. Okay, next time, rather than having a coffee, I'm going to have a water. And then rather than I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to walk on the treadmill. Don't get intimidated by thinking you have to go there and crush this incredible session like everyone's talking about. That comes later. So yeah, I think my level of discipline comes from building it up. And I'm the open guy. I fell off. Like I was focusing on everything else. Focused on making money, focused on my family, forgot about my health, and I didn't go to the gym. I didn't train for 2.5 years. Like I did nothing. So it happens to everyone. Yeah, okay. Pressure makes diamonds. Texas Top GG. Hex to the moon. That's right, Joe. For sure, hex to the moon. I cannot wait. We could talk. Okay, these super things. Thank you, guys. I don't even know how this works. First time, guys. Getting used to this. I've lost my place. 1 second. See you in Prague. Okay. I'm training kickboxing sessions, 6 sessions a week. Do you think it's too much? Because I think I need to spend more time on making money. Depends. It's so hard to say. He says, say wealth. Training 3 kickboxing sessions and 6 gym sessions a week. That sounds, depends on your goals, depends on your age, depends what you're trying to achieve, etc., etc., etc. Like for me, money comes at the end of all these things. So again, say well, don't know how old you are. If you are 18, 100% you should be doing that. You're probably doing more. That's not enough. You got to remember, when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, until about 24, I would train 4 times a day, every day. Gym, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, go for a run, whatever. Wake up, go for a run. Then as much as I physically could when I was 18, 19, 20. Push. Didn't care about money, didn't care about women, couldn't care less. Push. So I think that question is so hard to answer because I don't know who you are, I don't know how old you are, I don't know what you're doing. So I wouldn't say, if it depends on the age. If you're over 35 or over 30 or over 20, like if you're over 30 and you're broke, then yeah, you should probably spend more time making money. Depends on your physical state right now, what sort of shape you're in, what you prioritize. And I did a video about this as well. I'm not sure if it's out yet. I think it's out. About, there's only 3 pain points as a man in life. We've got the 3 things that we really have to worry about. And that's, getting a wife or a girlfriend and, making money, providing business, and then being in shape physically and mentally. They're the 3 things that matter. And we can't focus on all 3 of them all the time. Anyone who tells you to live a balanced lifestyle and that it's all bullshit. You can't get to fight in the UFC or you can't become a world champion by worrying about women and money. It's just impossible. It's literally impossible. You have to be obsessed. You have to focus 100% on the thing that you're trying to achieve. If you're not focusing 100%, how are you going to do it? So there has to be cycles. So again, I don't know what cycle of your life that you're in, but that sounds like not enough training or too much training, depending on what cycle you're in and what the priority is. If you're saying that you're worried about making money, tell me how old you are. I'll see if you go down the list. The pressure thing, it's universal. I saw it in chess too, like Tate says all the time. Okay, I'm not sure what referring to, but nice one, Andre. Hi Legend, my respect to you. What is your mentorship program? Does it only make sense for fighters or can it be used for business? It's actually the opposite. I have two programs. I have a fighters program this is 20 videos long or something like that, and it's a course that I'm involved with that I give information about the mentality behind fighting and all the things that you do with your mind and how some of the tips I give in some of the podcasts that I talk about, but condensed down into like a proper format to explain how to get the most out of your training. There's 4 categories in the fighting program. I talk about how to get the most out of your training with the mental side, like training your mind, because most people focus on training their body and they don't think about the body-mind connection and the fact that your mind controls your body anyway. Surely you should be training your mind. It's the most important thing. So how to train your mind, how to get the most out of your training regime, how to get the most out of your training schedule. So how to schedule your sessions when you should be. Guy was talking about he was doing 3 sessions a week plus gym sessions, like how to really work that out and talk about that. I do weight cutting. I used to fight a middleweight, 84 kilos or 185 pounds. So I used to cut a lot of weight, 12 kilos, 27 pounds, something like that, in 24 hours before the fight. So I give advice on weight cutting, all the mental side. And then fight night, like game day, how to stay in the zone, to really push yourself mentally in the fight. I believe fighting is 100% mental. I used to say 99%, 1% physical, but I think it's 100% mental. If you can't perform, you lose. That's the reality. You've done all the work before that. So I do that program. It's called The Ultimate Fighter's Edge. And then I have a mentorship, which is more about business, communication, leadership, all these other things that there's not fighting related. So again, it depends what you're looking for. You can always message me on Instagram and I can direct you to the right place, at Luke Barnatt, obviously. And we can talk about it. There's probably links. I think there's links in every single YouTube as well. What we got here? Easy G, just checking in. Elevate, make music. Thanks for the value you give. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, guys. Happy New Year. What about 2024? I am in the real world. So are we good? And by the way, Merry Christmas, sir. What about 2024? I mean, I was going to talk about this. I'll talk about the end. Stay till the end and I'll talk about 2024. I feel tired and demotivated for the rest of the day after working out in the morning. I've tried eating carbs and protein and should I switch to evenings? Now, this is again, I think you should probably train twice a day, depending on your age, depending who you are, depending on what you're doing. But I try and explain this, that you should prioritize the most important thing to you in the morning. So if you're worried about making money, you should focus on making money. If you're worried about being in shape, you should focus on being in shape. In the morning is the first thing you do when you should wake up. For me at the moment, my priority is fitness, health. I wake up, I go to the gym. So that way, the most important thing to you gets done in the day. The fact that you're tired after a workout for the rest of the day, I mean, I don't believe that's true. There's got to be something else going on. You need to look at how you sleep, how you eat. There's a lot of factors. Are you hydrated? All these sort of different things. But saying that you get tired after a workout, just man up a little bit. It's a bit gay. Right time to quit. When you quit fighting. Good question. Gareth, how do you know when you are giving up too early, if it's the right time to quit? If, for example, when you quit fighting. I think that's a very personal thing. For me, quitting fighting was an extremely personal decision, but like I said, I think I did it too late, retrospectively looking back at it. And you can never know if it was too early or too late until the future. So there's no point in worrying about it. Like, I believe you should push things. Like, I don't think I went too early by any regard. I think you should go for as long as you can until you're not getting anything from that thing. So when you say giving up on something, I didn't give up on fighting. I had 40 odd fights. I got to the best level in the world. I think I was ranked 20th in the world at one point. I definitely didn't give up. That story came to an end. I could continue fighting, but then the rest of my life would suffer. So looking back on it, like I said, I think I spent too much time on it. And most people people say, like, people like me anyway, who get things done, I struggle to change. I actually struggle to do the new thing, to start the new thing. Maybe a lot of people do, but I struggle to start the new thing because I'm so stuck in my ways. I'm very, very. When I go to the cafe, I eat the same thing every day. I'm very routine orientated. Routine. If someone said to me, "You got to fight in 3 months," I would, like that, know exactly what to do, go into it. But it'd be so easy for me and simple for me. To switch and do something else is a lot more challenging. So it comes down to depending why you are changing that thing, why you are deciding to stop, to quit. Like I said, for me, I stopped fighting because I lost all feeling in it. I got nothing out of winning, nothing out of losing. I paid the bills. I paid the bills quite well. Actually, when I quit, it cost me a lot of money. So it was very difficult for me because I had nothing to fall back on because I went all in with fighting. So as soon as I stopped, I had to find ways to feed feed my kids and to pay the bills. So it's actually a very tough decision to make. But they're normally the ones that you need to make because you got to do something else. And I think if you're struggling to decide to do something new, or you think maybe it's too early, maybe that's just cope and you just don't know what to do and you're kind of like scared to do this new thing. I think you should do both. Like, I don't know your situation or what you're talking about, but I think you should do both and do as many as you can and push yourself with many different ways, and things will just come to you. If you someone else said this to me, like, how do you know what to do? Do everything. Do absolutely everything, and then the right ones will just end up garnering or building, momentum. So they'll start building momentum for you. So I think you can never know if it was the right time to quit or if it was the right time to do something new until 10 years down the line. Even from fighting, I still think fighting. A lot of people say that I retired too early or I stopped too early. Well, I stopped. I was 3 years ago. I was 31 years old, 32 years old. Most fighters go to their 40 now with science and everything else. One of the guys that I fought against and I beat, Sean Strickland, is now the middleweight champion of the world. So maybe I gave up too early. If I'd have carried on pushing the way Sean did, I could become. But it wasn't my journey. It wasn't what was destined for me, and I think I'm destined for much bigger things. Woohoo! Texas Top G. Keep going, brother. I've been following for a while. Keep doing big things in the future. Thank you, brother. How you doing, legend? Is southpaw less effective fighting stance, or is this fully dependent on the fighter's skills? I actually think if I was to go back and learn how to fight, I would have learned as a southpaw. I think being a southpaw is the most annoying thing in the world. And if you're good at it, it's super, super effective. And I think you can put a lot of people off, destroy a lot of people. And, being southpaw is a real pain in the ass if you're good at it and you're effective at it. But it's because it's harder to find training partners. It's harder to find people that emulate the style. If you're a southpaw, you're used to fighting orthodoxies all day long. But me as an orthodox, I very rarely fight a southpaw. So I think southpaws are bloody annoying, which means that it's probably a good thing and you should do it. SGB. Hey, Luke, do you know when to switch from one business idea to another if you're not getting any results? Okay, so this is similar to the other question. And I think people have unrealistic expectations when it comes to business. I think they have unreal expectations of what they're going to achieve and where they're going to get and where they can go in certain amounts of time because we see everyone achieving so much now, which is great. It's very inspiring and we should want to do that as well. But we need to understand that we need to put in real effort. So if you really have been trying and you've really been doing it and you can't see the future and you don't feel like you want that future, again, depends on why you're doing the business. If you're doing it purely for money, it's like, it comes down to if you really see a future in that thing and you want to become that guy and that thing. Again, if you're doing it purely for money, it's more difficult. I think money, is everything and it's very, 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 very important, and money should always be aligned in what you're trying to achieve because it's the currency the world runs on and we need it. But I think if you're doing it purely just for that reason, and you're quitting too early, that's probably one you're going to quit too early, because you're going to be like, oh, it's not working out, I'm not making any money. So again, talk about the fighting journey for me, and the fighting journey for a lot of people that don't make any money. But when I started fighting at 18, I didn't make any money till I was 25. So 7 years invested, I think. But from those 7 years, I'm now at a stage where my name and everything else that I've built over those 7 years is untouchable. So I think as long as you're doing it for the business that you're doing has a future, and you can see a future, and you're truly putting everything into it, like actually trying, I think you'll know. I think you'll know if it's a dead end or not. I think you're asking that question probably because you're looking for a way out, and you're looking for a reason for me to give you, but I think you really do know. Here's Joe again. Hex to the moon. That's a super chat. I think I don't know what they call it. It's called a super chat. Super chat, €2.49. Nice one, brother. Appreciate that, Joe. Joe, I was on Joe's podcast. If you can see him in the chat, go follow Joe. Interesting guy, young guy that moved to Marbella from Ireland, trying to do his thing. Do you have a personal logo? Or do I have plans to make one? No, I don't have a personal logo. Not looking to make one. Don't think I need one. If anyone feels differently, I wouldn't mind. I'm going to start putting my initials on all my shirts, which is LHB. So like that could be a personal logo or a personal touch. That's what I'd like to do. How do you develop confidence in confrontation? Any tips? Also maintaining eye contact, like a stare down, etc. I've seen a hell of a lot of stare downs, because not only have I fought so many times, but I've also managed events. I've worked as a commentator on a lot of events, and I go on stage a lot during the stare downs. But what it was the first part of the question, because that was the most important. Develop confidence in confrontation. I think, like everything, is being in those situations as much as possible. So if it's confrontation, like this is again personal, but I was a very, very talented fighter at the age of 24. 18 I wasn't. I was useless. No one knows how to fight. Anyone who walks into a gym, no one knows how to fight. So if you don't know how to fight and you think, oh, I don't want to go, no one knows how to fight when they start. Nobody. So when I went there when I was 18, I shit myself, like awful. But the confrontation physically, I could deal with any physical confrontation, because I was putting myself in situation day in, day out, that was having physical confrontations in jiu-jitsu, in Thai boxing, in boxing, all those sort of things. Stare down is slightly different. And then so is like business and dealing with women and all these, like walking up to a girl and asking her out. That's like a confrontation in a way. And if you don't do the reps, you're never going to be any good at it. And I think I felt this, like physically I could deal with very, very good physical, any confrontation doesn't matter. 25 doesn't matter. But then when I got into the UFC, I had to deal with a lot of media, and I had to deal with a lot of you got like people taking the piss out of each other. What do they even call it? Like going back and forth. And it was so new to me, because everyone was my gym was so positive and pushing each other and whatever. We got like a weird sense of humor. But when it came to like business, I remember, it's again an embarrassing story kind of, when I was on The Ultimate Fighter, when I finished The Ultimate Fighter, you get a lot of one-on-one interaction with Dana, because Dana would come to all the fights and all that sort of stuff. And after the first fight in the UFC, I asked for a meeting with Dana. So just a meeting between two men, right? Just to have a chat. That's all it was. And I was so fucking scared, like so nervous for this meeting. I was 25 or 26, I can't remember. And I really remember this. I spoke to Dana about this since. And it's like, how the fuck could I be scared? I get on occasion fight people, but I was afraid of having a conversation with one guy. And it's because I wasn't used to those sort of conversations, those sort of moments. So I think you have to put yourself in those moments as much as possible. Now I feel extremely confident talking to anybody. And I think I talk about this in my course and my mentorship and all that sort of stuff. I believe that I'm a very introverted person. I was afraid of social environment for a very, very long time when I was a kid. 14, 15, 16, I was a geek. I used to play computer games. That's all I cared about. I didn't speak very well. I was very, very worried about social situations. So I had to learn all those things. And I think it's reps. Like everything in life, it's reps. And when it came to Dana and the meeting and all that sort of stuff, it was just the first time I'd ever asked a guy, can we have a chat? I'd never done it before. But someone told me to do it. So I did it. And, it was an extremely intimidating situation. But then you get over it. You think, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then you do it again and again and again and again and again and again. So it's the same when it comes to, like I said, cold approach with women, talking to women. If you're afraid of women, talking to women, I mean, it's insane that a man could be afraid of a woman. What's he going to do? Nothing. He's going to tell you that you're an ugly prick. Okay, no problem. Like, just move on. It doesn't matter. So, and then we have that on the internet now. Everyone's afraid of comments and people insulting each other. It's weird. It's weird. But I think if you want to get over that, it's just repetition. I'm losing where I'm at every single time. So let's see. How do you develop confidence? Nice one. Mohammed, so there you go. Mohammed, I just get on with it. Whatever. Oh, it's stare downs. Sorry. Confrontations like stare downs. Get repetition. Sounds weird, but do it with your mates. If you're going to do stare down and you're kind of scared of doing it and worried about doing it, do it with your friends. It will seem funny and it will seem weird. But again, public speaking, I used to go to a club where we used to do public speaking. And we used to get given a hat which had loads of pieces of paper in it. And you open it and you look at a topic. And it could be flowers. You'd have to talk about flowers for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You know nothing about flowers, but you have to talk about flowers. You feel uncomfortable, you feel scared, you feel worried. Repetition, repetition, repetition. So with your face-offs, you're going to feel awkward. Just do it with your mate. Do it with your mate every single day. Mess around with face-off. You'll probably end up laughing, but then try and make it more and more serious. And if you do it 100 times, then when you do a face-off with the guy that you're going to fight, it'll be easy. How does one go from sleeping on the floor to being a UFC and a successful entrepreneur? What has to click? What's the mindset? Whew, I mean, that's a long answer. If I could put it down to one word and one thing, it's intention. So I think because I was sleeping on the floor, I had a reason to not be sleeping on the floor, to push myself to be a good fighter. But I think intention, daily intention, pushing yourself every single day and understanding that Mike Dolce used to say a thing called 1% better every day. If you're pushing yourself to become 1% better every single day, then you're going to get there. Whatever your path is in life, I think that's going to do you good. We've been going for about an hour, so we'll get there. I don't know where they are, but if anyone can hear, Rokas is here like helping me out because I'm not the best tech guy in the world. I want to follow up on the appointment setter. Everyone talks about sales being such an important skill. 7 years in car sales. What do I need to break from working for a capped commission? Okay, so you're working in sales as a car salesman, you got a capped commission. So I think I say this 7 years. So you're obviously pretty talented at being a car salesman if you've been doing it for 7 years. I think exploring different avenues of making money, like as sales, if you're a good salesman and good at selling, someone gave really good advice at one of these events that I was at. I wish I knew who it was so I could say, I say their name. But they said, like, if you want to get into sales or you want to change your job or you want to do something new and you're not sure what it is, then you should go become a watch salesman at an airport. And I was like, what? Come out of nowhere. And he was like, because the turnover of customers is so high, there's so many leads that come into the shop, and there's so many people that don't really want to buy a watch, and you have to try and sell them, and you have to try and convert them. You're going to get so many reps. Again, we speak about reps. Going to get so many reps in. So that just made me think of it because he said that. So if anyone's trying to think of something, that's a position you can get to become good at sales, because you're either going to be good or you're not. And if you've been doing it 7 years and you're on a capped commission, you're probably doing okay. But why are you on a capped commission? Why are you working for someone else selling car? Like, there must be something you can go out and do. And if you have the skills as a salesman, you can convert it into anything that you want. Maybe you should need to pick up a side hustle, do something on the side to try and build up revenue and sales in a different way on the internet, because the internet, there's billions of people you could sell stuff to. So yeah, I take that skill set that you have, David, and try and utilize it in a different way. I say this to a lot of people: you must be a specialist, 7 years in the field. 7 years doing anything, you should be amazing at it. If you're not amazing at it, you should be trying to get better at it. If you don't want to be a car salesman for the rest of your life, or you want to make more money, then you need to figure out ways to do it, because, otherwise you're just gonna get stuck doing what everyone else is doing for a capped commission. Go try and find a different role. I'm Say Wealth. Okay, so I'm 24, right? Broken, skinny. I want to focus on money and gym. Have some money. I'll come back to fighting. Again, Say well, we changed now. It's Icy Destiny. Okay, so 24. In reality, and I'm not trying to crush anyone's dreams. Fighting's great, and fighting's going to do a lot for you. You're never going to get to the elite level of fighting if you start at 24, especially now. I started at 18, and that was late for the UFC. But if it's kickboxing, or you could have some big fights. You could have some good fights. You should still fight anyway. So my advice at 24 would be to focus on not being skinny, like you said, and getting hench and getting heavy and lifting and fighting. You're training a bit too much. Then if you're skinny and worried about being skinny, it's because you're training so much. You should do train heavier weights or heavier repetitions, but less days. Because if you're in the gym 6 days a week, you're just burning too many calories, and you're probably not eating enough, and that's why you're skinny. And then kickboxing on top of that. So you continue fighting. You should have some fights, but you should be 100% focused on making money at 24. You're going to be 25. From the age of 25, you should know how you're going to make money. I mean, from the age of 20, you should, but 25 is the cutoff for me. If you're a 25-year-old man and you're broke and don't have a future and don't know how you're going to make money and don't know what you're doing, you're kind of lost. I mean, I was 25 and I was fighting in the UFC, so I kind of, and I had to go through the journey of being lost when I came out, which was 31, 32. I'm late in the game when it comes to making money because I focused all my energy on fighting. At 24, you're late in the game. You need to start looking at making money, and fighting needs to be a side hustle. Look at fighting like your side hustle and have some fights. 100% have some fights, but you're not going to become a world-class world champion unless you give up everything. And the fact that you're asking me these questions tells me that you're not going to. I'm 21, training boxing, got a degree from a good uni. First year currently, around 70k by June. What advice would you give me in life in general going forward? Okay, 21 years old, training boxing, got a degree from a good uni. First year currently, or you're getting a degree because you don't have one at 21. I'm okay again, or you just okay. I mean, if you already got a degree, or you're doing a degree in something that you care about and that you like. It's Mohammed Hassan again. I think we had you on. You said something earlier. Yeah, confidence, eye contact at stare downs. So you're smashing it. 21. If you're at uni, you know what you're doing. Now you need to learn how to leverage that at being 21 years old. You need to be able to push yourself every single day. You need to have intention. You need to build those layers of pressure daily. You need to, just level up. 17K in savings. Like I said, when I was 21, I was sleeping on the floor. So you're financially steps ahead. You need to utilize that the right way. You need to, I don't know if you're in the real world learning about crypto, 17K in savings right now. Maybe we're going to a bull market and you can turn that into some real money. And if you, depends again where you are in your life, but that sort of money, I would be looking at investing and not letting it sit in the bank and rot away to inflation. Let me just check that one. Any advice would you give me in life in general going forward? My advice in life going forward is that at 21 and doing university, life does not, learning does not stop now. Learning is only just beginning. It's like we used to say in fighting, when I got to the UFC, they would say, "Oh, welcome." Now the work begins. Like now it's tough. Now it starts. Everyone used to think like that was my goal to get to the UFC. You get there and everyone's amazing and you got to get better. It's like when you leave uni and you've got your degree, that doesn't mean that you've got some magical secret. It means nothing. Really means nothing at that point. So you need to continue learning and becoming better. Like I said, the real world's a great way for you to learn how to invest that money and spend that money. If you've got 17 grand, it's $50 a month. Maintaining energy levels, motivation throughout the day, fasting, eliminating carbs. Maintaining energy levels. I'm going to talk about coffee. Everyone's going to laugh at me. Well, maybe just Rockas. But what's your caffeine intake? Super, super important. How much sleep are you getting? Super, super important. And motivation throughout the day. It's gay. Fasting. I mean, I think fasting becomes something really, really important as you grow older. I think if you're young and you're in the growth phase, like muscular, brain, everything, like under 25, I think you should be eating very, very good calories, good quality foods. There's a guy, probably the best guy I followed this year on socials is a guy called Eddie Abu. He's an old English bodybuilder who now gives advice on lifting and eating. Super cool guy, super fun. Used to be an Olympic weight. I don't know. Used to be like a beast, and now he's like come off all his steroids and he's teaching people how to eat healthily. He gives basically the same advice as Mike Dolce, which is eat, real food. So eat lots and lots of real food. So I think if you're eating well, you're sleeping well, and your caffeine intake isn't crazy, then there's no reason you shouldn't be motivated throughout the day. When it comes to fasting, I think if you're under 25, I wouldn't even think about it. As you become over 25, I think then it becomes a bit more important. I fast what do they call it? Intermittently fasted. I normally eat about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, eat dinner at 8 o'clock, and I don't eat the rest of the time. But I'm trying to drop calories, so I'm trying to drop pounds, sorry. It's different. Eliminating carbs, I think that's a myth. I think as long as you're not eating, sugar's the problem, bro, not carbs. Okay, what's this guy? I am an undefeated amateur kickboxer, and I am very good at moving and smooth striking dynamic. But I telegraph my kicks also. A great switching stance, but I struggle fighting. Right. Don't understand what the question was. Oh, southpaw. I struggle fighting southpaw. You struggle fighting southpaw or southpaws. So for me, you sound like undefeated amateur. You must know what you're doing in kickboxing. Most important thing about southpaws is to move the right direction. Everyone knows this, especially if it's kickboxing, because the body kick super important. So basics when it comes to fighting a southpaw. Southpaw means his right foot is forwards and your left foot is forward as an orthodox. You want to move to your left, away from his power hand, his left kick. Super basic. But the thing that changed the game for me when it comes to fighting southpaws was controlling what you call the dead space, like no man's land in between the two of you. And the way I do that is with my lead hand. I have my lead hand higher than his lead hand. So I control the jab range and the kick range, and I can feel his intention. So I control that dead space by holding my hand out as high as I can. The mic's in the way. So it'd be like this. So I'm like, my hand's up high, and I'm like controlling, and it's higher than his. If his hand's higher than mine, he can jab me over the top. If my hand's higher than his, there's nothing you can do about it. I'm not sure if that's on the camera because the angle and everything, but that for me helped me with southpaws. LHB, that's it, Austin. Nice. I should use this mouse. It's way better. Okay. Being more controlled and balanced and not telegraphing kicks and just overall striking better in the regard. Oh, okay. So that's a continuation from Lucas. Difficult one to answer, Lucas. Not sure. Nice one, Gareth, mate. 20 Canadian dollars. Thanks for asking the question. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Appreciate it. What advice would give me and mentally fighting and advice would you give? Oh, Lucas is the same listener. He's gone a few times. I think, Lucas, for you, if you're interested to learn about the mentality stuff, like I said, I've got a course on it for fighting. You're an amateur undefeated fighter. I can give you loads of tips on mentality and all that sort of stuff in the Ultimate Fighter's Edge. The product should be in the description. If it's not, I can send it to you. LBL, Luke Barnatt legend. Nice. Elevate makes music. Any advice on getting back in the gym and getting back into fighting after a wrist injury? Been 3 months. Push-ups hurt. Okay with pain. Yeah, for sure. Appreciate the donation as well. Do you call it a donation? Yeah. Okay, yes. Again, I'm new at all this, so we appreciate the donation. $20. Very, very, very appreciated. So, like I said, my first ever fight, I had my jaw broken. And even with a broken jaw, I showed up to the gym every single day. And I watched the sessions because there was some study about if you think about the thing and do the thing, like the difference is like 10%. Like you learn at the same rate. I don't know the exact numbers, but by physically showing up and being in the space and watching people compete and watching people train and watching people do drills, you will learn. So if you have a bad injury, you should still be at the gym. Not going to the gym is an absolute cope bullshit excuse. And a shout out to my mate Jack Mason, who's the reason I got into fighting and was my coach and my training partner for a long time. He taught me that. And the way he taught me that is he fought in a cage fight against, I can't remember the guy's name. I can't remember it. Because I've been to so many fights. Jackson had 50 professional fights, so I think it was Danny Roberts. It might have been Danny Roberts, I can't remember. But he tore his hamstring in the fight. And like with a torn hamstring, the back of the leg goes completely black purple and blue, like awful. Like it looks terrible, right? That happened to him. And on the Monday, I went to the gym and he was in the gym, hopping on one leg, punching the punch bag. And I was just like, bro, what are you doing? He goes, I got to be here. Physically, mentally have to be here. Because I know if I'm not here, I'm not engaged, I don't have the intention to become better. So even if you've got a bad wrist, you should be in the gym. Doesn't mean you should be training. He wasn't training his bad leg. You could jab or throw it depends on what wrist it is. Don't use that wrist and you can still train. You can train kicks, you can train knees, you can train elbows, you can train your whole body. Don't have to be injuring it worse with the wrist. So my advice would be the best way in getting back into the gym is to never leave the gym. So you should never have left in the first place. If you're just going there day by day by day by day, there's something about the universe and about your body and about whatever, it will fix it for you. You know, it will get the blood flow will get there, and all. And you should be with wrists. You should definitely be stretching. You should definitely make sure you're taping and wrapping your wrists properly when you're fighting and you're training. There's so many different bits of advice I could give you, but let's just see. But what to make sure don't F them up more. Yeah, again, tape, strap, get good gloves, get good wraps. Learn how to do your wraps properly. So there's a few ways you could do it. Like a lot of it is on the wrist, but then also stretching your wrists. You probably can't see, but if you stretch your wrists this way on the mat and then this way on the mat, that can help as well. I would go see professional physio as well and talk to him about your wrists and the injury. A lot of the time the injury is in the forearm. It's not actually in the wrist, but you get a lot of build-up from this impact. The shock gets sent onto this part of the arm, and this becomes tight. So you maybe need to massage your forearms as well, because that might be where the injury is. But I'd go see a pro about it. But thank you, bro. Elevate makes music. We'll go for another 10, 15 minutes. I don't know if Rokas has anything to do. Where do you see your YouTube channel in 2024? What do you picture it to look like this time next year? We'll find out. I think that's a great question. It comes back to me talking about goals in 2024. I don't care. As long as I put in the effort every single day and I show up every single day and I do the lives and I do a podcast. My goal for the channel is to do a podcast every single week and to get it out to you guys every single week, to do it to camera every single week. So I think about what I can do today to make it better. This is the first time I've done a live. I think I'll probably do a few more of these. I did it because of the Boxing Day thing, but yeah, I'll probably do some more. I think if I focus on 2024, how the channel will end up, who knows? It does, to me, it's not important. I have in my mind for YouTube, I'm going to give it 5 years, focus on it for 5 years, enjoy it. That's all I have. I just have a time period. I think that's super important when it comes to setting goals or new projects or new things, understanding the how long you're going to do it for, the when. But year in year incrementals, I don't have. I just have dailies. You know, every single day I want to produce content. I want to do new challenges. I just shot a new vlog. I was challenged to do a vlog, so I did one on my phone. It is not the best, but it's me trying something new. So hopefully that gets better. I just want the content. Now I've been doing this for 3 months, maybe 4 months. I want the content to become more directed, to make more sense. At the moment, I've just been making content. Now I want to understand why I'm making content and my audience and people like you and what I'm doing it for. So hopefully by the end of 2024, I'll understand you guys so much better and the value that I can give you guys. David M, thanks for answering the questions. Appreciate it, bro. Thanks for watching. I should say the doctor only saying essay back in, but they literally meant nothing to me. Figured I'd ask an actual fighter. Thanks again. Yeah, hopefully I answered it already. Elevate. Like I said, most important thing is that it never happens again. So make sure you're wrapping your hands properly and you're doing the stretches. Love the content. Thank you very much, Daniel. I know. Okay. Lucas Garcia also struggled being controlled by balance. He's asked the same question again. That's confused. The advice helped. Nice one. See you in the war room soon. It's Sean. Hey, Sean, bro. What's happening? Well, yeah, I remember from Instagram, right? How good is Marbella to live when you have a young family? So I talk about this quite a lot because for me, Marbella is amazing, especially for a young family. I think keep saying this stat because I learned it. I worked it out today, so I like it. 38 trips this year. So I've been to 38 different locations this year, including Marbella. And Marbella is the best. There's nowhere better. I've been Miami. I've been to Dubai. This year I've been to Miami, Dubai, Bangkok, Prague, London, a few others, like I can't remember all. But I've been to those ones mainly. And Marbella beats all of them, especially for a young family, because it's safe. You can't beat the feeling of waking up and walking out and it being on the water. At least for me. I lived in San Diego for 2-3 years when I was in the UFC. I lived on a yacht, and when I woke up every morning, I could see the water. And to me, there's something about the sea. There's something about it. I just feel great when I wake up and the sun hits my face and I can see the water. Even when I drive to Marbella and I just feel better. So that alone beats everything else, the nature and everything. But in the summer, I'll walk with my kids to school. One of them goes to nursery, one of them goes to school, I don't know, basic school, the beginning of school. That shows how involved I am compared to my wife. But the basic school. And imagine walking your kids along the beach, dropping them off at school, having a coffee. It's just, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. And then after school, pick them up, take them to outdoor playground on the beach. They play on the beach. They go in the water. For young kids, they learn the 2 languages. My kids are learning English and Spanish. My 4-year-old Spanish is incredible. She speaks to me in Spanish all the time. That's what I'd say about that, Sean. You should definitely, if you're thinking about moving, this place is unbelievable. King Knight. Any advice on becoming smarter and more knowledgeable about history and politics? I mean, I know I'm not the guy to talk about history. Tristan is the guy to talk about history. But when it comes to politics, I think just listening and being involved. You know, my political views and everything I've been learning about, and they said about history and all these documentaries and everything. It's so hard to understand what's real and what's fake because a lot of it's skewed from different sides, especially when it comes to political history. But yeah, I think just doing the hard work, reading, studying, understanding it, finding mentors that understand it and talking to them and having discussions. Yeah, that would be the best way. I mean, I'm not the guy to speak to about it. I'm not any specialist when it comes to history or politics. Happy Boxing Day, bro, and Merry Christmas to Elevate Makes Music. Thank you for the advice. Gold content. Nice one, bro. Appreciate it. I think we're coming to the end. Okay, nice one, bro. Send us over the short content. Right, so I think that brings us to the end. We're going for about an hour and a half. Surprised at the length. I like to talk, so anyone ask me any questions, no problem. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it was fun. I'm sure I'll do more of these. Just want to finish talking about 2024 and talking about goal setting and talking about all this sort of stuff. So, going back to the whole, the point of why I thought about doing this live was about my mother. And it was about the fact that we never celebrated Christmas growing up and the strength that she showed, and it inspired me. Now I know it inspired me. I didn't at the time, but now I understood how much it inspired me. And the one thing that she used to say to me, which I used to think was crazy, was, why would you celebrate New Year's? Why would you celebrate your birthday? Because this is how she would see it. I don't know if it's all Jehovah's Witnesses or just her. But you're celebrating another year in what they call it, like the bad system, the demonic system. You know, you're celebrating another year on the planet that is ruled by Satan. This is my mother speaking. It's the way she talks to me about it. Like, why would you celebrate New Year's? And I got out. I don't understand why people celebrate New Year. It is literally just a number. I said this to Rokas as well when we were looking over the year. Why does a new year matter? What does it mean? All it does is gives you an opportunity or a chance to make it the best year of your life or whatever. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit marketing. I think I'm not going to celebrate the new year. I'm going to be with my family. It's a good opportunity to spend time with your family. Fantastic. But 2023, 2024 does not matter to me. It's the days that matter. And I think understanding that we are living in the world's fucked up. The world's a mess. So if you're living if your life's not the way you want it to be, why are you celebrating going into 2024? That's basically what I'm trying to say. If you are not living your best life, you're not living the way you want to live, you're not learning, pushing yourself, becoming better. Like if you were doing all those things, you wouldn't care that it was 2024. You wouldn't. It wouldn't mean anything to you. So if you're going to a New Year's Eve party, if you planned all this crap out and it's just another day off. It's just another distraction from what's really important. And what's really important is improving yourself, becoming better, and making yourself financially free and living the life that you want to live. And rather than celebrating, as my mum says, another year in the demonic world, or celebrating another year of a shit life that you have, don't celebrate and focus on making your life good every single day. Again, comes down to what I said about Christmas. Christmas is 2 days. I enjoy time with my family, and great. But I don't look forward to Christmas. I look forward to making sure that I'm able to provide for my family so they can enjoy Christmas. I look forward to pushing myself every single day to become better so I can give them the most that I could possibly give them. That's all I care about doing. And when it comes to New Year's, I'm going to celebrate it with them because they want to celebrate it. But for me, celebrating another year, not living the life that I want to live, the perfect life that I have envisioned for myself, it does not make sense to celebrate New Year's Eve. It does not whatsoever. I think it's pagan. I think it's pointless. And I think it's just another distraction to keep us understanding what's really important. And for me, what's really important is my family and living my best life. So I'll leave you guys with that. Enjoy the holiday season. Focus now. This week's the most important week.